وندعم بعض لأنه إحنا واحد. إحنا كلنا بشر كسودانيين جنوبيين بنستحق عشان نعيش بالسلام، نستحمل بعض ونصالح خلافاتنا ونعيش بالسلام. ده رسالة تسامح والتعايش السلمي بيجيك من آي راديو هناك في جنوب السودان.
This is a message of peace. We all are South Sudanese. It does not matter where anyone comes from. We need to respect each other and support each other because we are one. We all are human beings. As South Sudanese, we deserve to coexist peacefully, tolerate one another, reconcile all our differences, and live peacefully. This is a message of tolerance and peaceful coexistence brought to you by iRadio, your eye on South Sudan.
Welcome to the Sundown Show. On this show, we bring you the movers and shakers of South Sudan and the world over. We engage in debates and discussions that unearth the stories behind the news. And we have our light moments too by chit-chatting about issues that affect our day-to-day life. We stay right here on the Sundown. Join in and be part of the show on iRadio, your eye on South Sudan. The Sundown. For the news, views, opinion, debates, and discussions. Listen to who is who talking about issues that affect our country and continent. Only on the Sundown, your eye on South Sudan.
Hello and welcome to the Sundown Show on iRadio with me, Madrama James. Today is Thursday, the 22nd of May, 2025. The program comes to you Monday to Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. for comprehensive look at the daily events, the latest information, in-depth analysis, exclusive interviews, and exciting surprises. To be part of the show, call us on 091122 986 986. Send for us a text message on 0913 986 986. If you can't access the radio, we are also on our Facebook, X, YouTube, and more. You can also stream this broadcast live by logging to that's our website at www.iradio.org. Coming up. President Salva Kiir has officially welcomed the newly appointed deputies of the South Sudan Liberation Movement SPLM, saying the time has come for a new generation to take up the battle of leadership.
Comrades, today we turn a new page in our journey. As your president and chairman of the party, I am proud to officially welcome the new generation, the newly appointed first deputy, second deputy, and the third deputy.
Well, we shall listen to President Salva Kiir speaking at the SPLM House during the swearing-in this morning, saying the appointment marks a new chapter in the party's history. Still to come, a prominent civil society activist has raised alarm of the deportation of non-South Sudanese individual convicted of a serious crime in the United States to South Sudan, saying the country is not a dumping ground.
Comrades, today we turn a new page
with a high respect
in our
of
journey.
constructive and respect of human rights and rule of law. We need to see these individuals not staying in South Sudan. They should be deported to their respective countries immediately, because soon we'll be receiving criminals across the globe deported to South Sudan, and they'll commit crimes against us South Sudanese.
Well, Edmond Yakani, who is the Executive Director of Community Empowerment for Progress Organization, also known as SEPO, will provide for us insight of that particular story. Meanwhile, In the first hour, we will begin the story with important health messages for every parent and caregiver listening to this show. The African Vaccination Week. This comes as the Ministry of Health, in partnership with the World Health Organization, UNICEF, and other development partners, is leading the way with a powerful initiative to protect our children. The introduction of the pneumonia vaccine into the National Immunization Program. This life-saving vaccine targets all children aged between 6 to 14 weeks. And the goal is clear: to prevent pneumonia before it strikes. Pneumonia remains one of the deadliest illnesses for children under 5, caused by harmful bacteria that attack the lungs. Without a timely prevention, it can lead to serious complications and even death. But the good news is it's preventable. So as part of the Big Catch-up campaign, parents are encouraged to take their children to the nearest vaccination center during this week. The vaccine is free and available across all 10 states and 3 administrative areas. And joining us live in the studio today to talk more about this campaign, we have a potential guest in the studio right here. First, I'm joined by Mr. Taban Musa, who is the Deputy EPI. And for those who doesn't know, it's an expanded program on immunization and at the National Ministry of Health. Then followed by Dr. Anthony Lako, who is immunization officer from WHO. Not forgetting Dr. Samuel Pati, immunization specialist with UNICEF South Sudan. And finally, I'm also blessed to be joined by Mr. Aping Kulwel, a social and behavior change officer at UNICEF. And very unfortunately, inshallah, next time I don't have a lady in the studio, and for gender issues as well. But next time, inshallah. And ladies and gentlemen, I would like to say that it's now high time for me to give the opportunity to my potential guests in the studio to welcome them all. Welcome to the studios of iRadio.
Thank you very much.
All right. To kick start with Mr. Taban Musa, who is a Deputy EPI Director, Ministry of Health. What is African Vaccination Week and why is it important?
Okay. First of all, I would like to extend my appreciation to iRadio for hosting me this afternoon, and I also want to say hi to all the people who are listening to us out there, especially the mothers, the fathers, and anybody who takes responsibility of any child at home. I am requesting you to listen to us. Listen to the message that we are going to deliver to you today regarding the introduction of the new vaccines that has been mentioned to you, like the pneumococcal conjugate vaccine, which is to prevent pneumonia, and then the rotavirus vaccine, which is very effective in the prevention of diarrhea in children. So I think.
What is African Vaccination Week and why is it important?
Okay, the African Vaccination Week, which was celebrated from the last week of April, actually is a week that the Minister of Health and all the stakeholders commemorate the importance of immunization in children, because we know that in South Sudan, especially in South Sudan, many children die because of vaccine preventable diseases. These diseases could be prevented, but because they were not given the chance of being vaccinated, so they succumb to this one. So African Vaccination Week is very important for us, because the whole of Africa, they commemorate the importance of vaccination, and we also in South Sudan, we take that opportunity of also informing our people that vaccination is very, very important, and it is a right of every child. So mothers and parents should take this very serious to make sure that children are vaccinated, because we have the vaccines which are the vaccines are available and they are free of charge.
All right.
Yep.
Let me cross over to that Dr. Anthony Lako, who is a WHO immunization officer. What is pneumonia and why is it considered as dangerous to young children? Welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much. iRadio. Pneumonia is a disease caused by different bacteria, or in low language we call germs. But pneumonia in particular is caused by a bacteria that infect the lungs through air drops and to the blood, and may go to other locations like brain and other tissues. But mostly it infects lungs, and mostly to the age group of up to 5 years, which cause a lot of death because of difficulty in breathing, as well as septicemia or infection of blood.
And why is it regarded as dangerous, more especially to young children?
Yeah, it's dangerous because children have no immunity to that disease, and up to 5 years it kills almost globally, reaching 2 million children per year. And for that, it has a vaccine which was introduced many years ago. And for us in South Sudan, we are just introducing this month, so that at least we protect those children from pneumonia.
Oh, well. Over to that is Dr. Samuel Pati, a UNICEF immunization specialist. How is UNICEF supporting this vaccination campaign?
Thank you very much, Madrama, for this opportunity. And as my colleagues have said, we are very happy to be part of this afternoon session so that the country can hear what we want to talk about, the pneumonia vaccines. Of course, UNICEF is one of the key partners working with the Ministry of Health across the country. UNICEF is the focal point that brings in the vaccines from offshore, from Geneva or Copenhagen to the country, because this has been recommended by the government, and the vaccines that comes in through UNICEF are these pre-qualified vaccines, the WHO pre-qualified vaccines, and UNICEF supports the ministry in receiving and putting the vaccines into the national vaccine store to ensure that they are kept at the same temperature where they were manufactured from the factories or from the companies to the national vaccine store. And UNICEF also ensures that these vaccines are distributed across the country to where there are cold chain facilities to keep the vaccines at the same temperature of between +2 to +8 degrees Celsius, so that the vaccines that reach the beneficiaries are that potent vaccines and giving immunity to the children. So UNICEF works closely, and UNICEF also plays pivotal role in risk communication and community engagement by sensitizing the community, the caregivers about the importance of the vaccines, because if the messages are not well delivered, then the caregivers may not be willing to bring their children to the vaccination sites or vaccination posts to be vaccinated. And this is one of the areas UNICEF is really playing a pivotal role to see that everybody is informed. And that's why we are now here. Even this process is being processed through our SBC colleagues, social behavior change colleagues, or section, to ensure that we have come here to give information to the people before starting to administer the vaccine to the beneficiaries.
Well, let me cross over to Apinkulwel, who is a social and behavior change officer at UNICEF. Pneumonia vaccines are not manufactured here in South Sudan. Now, what are some of the common fears or myths around vaccination, and how can those myths be addressed among the skeptical communities?
Thank you so much, James, and listeners out there listening to our program. That is a very good question. As the experts here speak about the vaccine, usually as South Sudan, not different from other countries, whenever we are introducing a new vaccine, there are always misunderstanding around it. And the most common ones that we have been experienced is some people do not trust the vaccine, the safety of the vaccines. But if the vaccine is not safe, WHO cannot pre-qualify that vaccine. If the vaccine is not safe, the National Ministry of Health cannot accept that vaccine to come into the country. There is a group of experts that sit and analyze and approve that vaccines based on how it has been rolled out in other countries and how effective that vaccine is. So we that's why we are here, to make sure that we pass out information to the population, to the caregivers, fathers and mothers, to make sure that they have the right information in terms of the new vaccines that we are introducing. So there are two vaccines that we are introducing. We started commemorating it during African Vaccination Week, which was last month, starting on 24th. But the official launch is coming on 27th. Onward, depending on the readiness of each location. So we are going to launch these vaccines, and these vaccines have very clear messages that it is effective, it is safe and effective, and it can save life. Why we delay up to this end? These vaccines has been introduced in other countries way back, but because of our system not accommodating a lot of vaccines, that's why we are doing it slowly. So we started with other vaccines, the known vaccines, but this year is the right year for us to introduce the PCV vaccine, which is safe and free, and it can also save life, like the children under 5. The high risk groups, like Dr. Anthony said from WHO, the high risk groups are under 5, and mostly that's why we are encouraging mothers to make sure that from 6 weeks, that's when you need to start taking your child for vaccination. But for other antigens, other vaccines, you need to start right from birth. But for this vaccine, the pneumonia vaccines, it has to start from 6 weeks up to the 11th month of the child. So a child, this is the right age a child is supposed to get this vaccine. So we are always encouraging our mothers, caregivers, to make sure that they have the right information. If it is not safe, this vaccine cannot be allowed to come into the country. We need to get out of these things where we think that vaccine that is coming out is to kill us, or is to make other people infertility, or all that. So all those things they are not true. So please don't listen to any information which is not coming from the National Ministry of Health, from WHO, from UNICEF, from the key partners that are involved in this. Thanks to Gavi. Gavi is the one providing these vaccines free of charge. And if these vaccines are coming in and now we are not using them, that is a loss It is a big waste because these vaccines are brought for us free of charge. Other countries are buying these vaccines, but for us, we are just bringing these vaccines free of charge. So that is the message that I would want to add into what my colleagues have just mentioned.
All right. I would like us to move together with our audience, and any of you would like to maybe respond to some of this question in Arabic, the chance is right here. Now, before I cross over to that Sapati, Aping, Mr. Aping, please, could you tell us some of the common side effects of this pneumonia vaccine? And you earlier on said it's introduced in phases because our system here does not accommodate, the drug. And how safe will it be if our system does not really accommodate, large quantity of this drug? Welcome. Before I cross over to
thank you so much. I will just start, and then maybe my colleagues from the experts will also add into it. So, like any other vaccines, there are those mild or very mild or small side effects that always come with the vaccine. Like even the malaria Panadol that you are taking, the headache for the headache. Sometimes it reacts into the system and it can give you mild headache. It can give you mild fever and those mild things. So for pneumococcal vaccine, it is not different from other vaccines. So those are the common side effects. Maybe because it is injectable, sometimes maybe there may be swelling in the part that has been injected, which are normal. Those are considered normal. Like for any other vaccines, there is always that reaction of that vaccine into the system, like the immune system of the body.
Yes, I see Pati wanted to respond, but the storage facility, so safety of this drug, then I cross over to him.
For the storage of these vaccines, I think Pati has already mentioned, the storage is between 2 to 8 degrees, because we're not supposed to be exposed to heat. That's where it can get compromised. The efficacy can get compromised.
Right.
The potency of the vaccines can get compromised.
Pati, earlier on you raised up your hands, and if you like to add something, welcome.
I wanted to add something to my colleague Aping about the issues of myth. People with the social media, they have a lot of says, especially from outside, that vaccines, some of the vaccines, not only the pneumonia that is to be introduced, are not safe. But I wanted to say that this pneumococcal conjugate vaccine, known as PCV, is almost used all over 54 countries in Africa, leave alone the global. The global is an old introduction. It was introduced some years back. But in Africa, I think it was only 4 countries which were not introduced, and now we are there. Chad, I was here, and Somalia, only 4 countries. But the rest of the countries in Africa have been using it long time ago. Even our neighbors here, Uganda, Kenya, Ethiopia, they have introduced these vaccines long ago, and it has never been reported of severe adverse effects or side effects that are. As my colleagues have opinion said, the side effects are mild because any injection, even if you are injected for malaria or for any infection, there must be pain at the site where the injection took place. There may be swellings, but these ones are transient. It doesn't last even for 1 or 2 days, then it disappears. Or the child may cry only for maybe for a few minutes or 1 hour, and then the child will calm down and start breastfeeding normally, and it can bring also some fever, slight fever, but this one are good signs. When there is fever, means there is a reaction. The body is reacting with the antigen to produce immunity. So fever does not mean that is a bad sign, but that is a good sign to, as far as we know in the sciences about the vaccine. So pneumococcal conjugate vaccine is a safe vaccine, and our people would really be taking it without any fear. If I'm a under 5 child, if I'm of under 5, I would have gone to be the first one, but my age is above that one. But I encourage all mothers with children under 1 to make sure that they have brought their children for vaccination.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Patin. Now let me invite Dr. Anthony Lako. John Ayuen is asking via our Facebook page right here that do you first test the vaccine in your lab before administering it to the people to make sure that it is not really toxic? And second question to that, how does this also vaccine really help protect children from pneumonia? Marhaba.
Okay, thank you very much. شكرا كتير. ممكن أنا بجاوب بعربي بسيط عشان الناس بيقدروا يسمعوا. فاكسين ده طبعا لما يصنعوا فاكسين بيمشي لمراحل كتير، بيجربوا أول تجربة، تاني تجربة، لغاية الثالث والرابع خلاص بيفكوا له ترخيص. تجارب ده طبعا بيعملوه جلوبالي أو عالميا بشركات. There are companies that manufacture these vaccines and they have guidelines of manufacturing globally. They are monitored. ما قال ايزول يصنع فاكسين. احنا بنجيبوا فاكسين already شغال في العالم، شغال في العالم كله. الموضوع بتاعنا انه احنا كنا ما قادرين نجيبوا الفاكسين ده بدري. عندنا زي 4 دول زي ما mentioned by Dr. Pati. عندنا 4 دول ما قدروا يجيبوا فاكسين ده بسرعة. ليه؟ أو يدخلوا في التطعيم الروتيني. ليه؟ لأنه في فاكتورز بما فيهم تخزين. تجيبوا فاكسين أول تجيبوا ده أولوية تدي لفاكسين بينقذ حياة. يعني إحنا هسه لاسيا إحنا جبنا فاكسين بتاع ملاريا، لأنه ملاريا أول كلا. نمرة 2 هسه جبنا فاكسين بتاع روتا ده ونيمونيا. فاكسين ده كله بري كواليفايد. احنا قلنا بري كواليفايد جربوا و WHO ابروف. WHO طبعا بيراقب الادويه، جوده بتاع ادويه والفاكسينز كله في العالم. ابروف باي WHO، بعد ايزول في العالم بيستعملوا. سو احنا جايبين فاكسين الابروف ما بيعمل اي حاجه لايزول غير السايد افكت اللي قبل كلمونا اللي هو في وجع وبيكون في حمى بسيط وجانا بعد ذاك بيكون تمام. ياخد جرعات بتاعه نيمونيا تاني ما بيجيو. لو كمل الجرعات ما هيجيو نيمونيا تاني. سو الفاكسين ده هو تمام. مجرب واي حاجه تمام.
نعم. Over to you, Musa Taban. Let's have a look at the roles of parents and caregivers in this situation here. Where can parents take their children to receive this particular pneumonia vaccine? Marhab.
Thank you very much for that question. Actually, as our friend has just mentioned, parents need to be given information, the right information of where to take the child, when to take the child, and whom to meet there. Once the parents are given this information, they will be able to really to go to follow up. But if you just give blind information that, okay, please take your child for vaccination without informing where to take the child, of course that becomes a challenge to most of the mothers. Others will say, now where do I take my child to? There's no need for me now to go if they don't clarify where children are to be vaccinated. Then she decides to remain at home without taking children to there. So number one is information. Once the mothers or caregivers are given information, then telling them where to take the children for vaccination, of course, and then make sure that the vaccines that the child is going to receive is available in that location where you advise the mother to go to. So we have to make sure that we create where vaccination is going to take place, equip it with the necessary equipment that will be used for providing this service, and then making sure that the vaccine is there in good quantity, and also the storage of where the storage of this vaccine is the optimum. As Dr. Pati had mentioned earlier, that this vaccine can only be viable if the temperature of +2 to +8 degrees Celsius is maintained. But if it goes off that, then we shall be giving our children vaccine which is of no use. So it is very important to observe the cold chain, the person even who is going to provide this vaccine must be trained adequately on how to give this injection. And then once the training is done, and then mothers are given information, I'm sure then the service will be, the uptake of the service will be okay.
All right. Dear listener, if in case you have just joined us, you are most welcome. This is a Sundown Show with me, Madrama James, and we dived into the initiative by the Ministry of Health in partnership with the WHO, UNICEF, and other partners in launching that pneumonia vaccine as part of South Sudan National Immunization Program. I'm blessed to be joined by Mr. Taban Musa, who is the Deputy EPI Director, Ministry of Health, not forgetting Dr. Anthony Lako, a WHO Immunization Officer, and Dr. Samuel Apati, UNICEF Immunization Specialist, and finally Mr. Apin Kluel, who is a Social and Behavior Change Officer, UNICEF. Now let's have a quick break. When we come back, that's when we shall be giving you that chance to call us on 0911-022-986, 986 so that you ask those good questions to my guest.
تطعيم تنيمونيا أوبيغا في عشان بيحمي جنتكي ضد نيمونيا الليلة. مرض تنيمونيا دي أو من أخطر أمراض اللي بيقبضوا إيال تحت 5 سنة، وهو مرض السبب تو بكتيريا وبيقبضوا رئتين، وممكن كمان بيقتلوا كان ما عملوا وقاية من فوقه. أعراض تو أو حمى وسرعة في التنفس ووجع في الدوس كان زلق نفس أو قحة وصعوبة تتنفس. وزارة الصحة بدعم من شركات بيجعملوا تطعيم تنيمونيا في ولايات 10 ومناطق الإدارية 3. كي تشيلوا جنتكي الأمور بين 12 و 59 شهر عشان بيلقوا تطعيم تنيمونيا في أقرب مرفق صحي أو مركز تطعيم. تطعيم تنيمونيا ده هو آمن ومجاني وهو جزء من تطعيمات الروتينية. رسالة ده بيجالتكم من وزارة الصحة ومنظمة الصحة العالمية، يونيسيف وشركاء.
Yes, welcome back from the break. It's high time now for you to pick that cell phone and dial our studio line 0911-22986 لو عندك ممكن سؤال ولا تعليق دي فرصة عليك عشان تصل معنا طوالي في داخل الاستوديو هنا واسألوا السؤال بتاعك. عندي أول مكالمة معي في خطاي راديو.
Madrama James.
James Duar.
Yes, how are you, brother?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Welcome on board.
The guys in the studios.
Thank you.
Before I
ask a question
in the studio, I would want to tell them, though they are not in agreement with what I'm going to say, you know, we Africans are not educated. Honestly speaking, if we are educated, we should not rely on well health organization to test for us a vaccine, rather than we ourselves testing that vaccine by ourselves. And this is a clear indication that Africans are not educated. We are just going to school to read and write and speak the language that can be understood. But discoveries are very, very problematic to us. And this is part of colonization that is ongoing, continuing, because you cannot rely on someone, test it for yourself, and know the effect. Maybe you don't know that vaccine is created to keep the mind of children not to have a sense. Because sense is not just only that what you are seeing, but the other thing that maybe a child can remember when he or she reach that age of teenage, he or she may be sharp in understanding on what to discover on the global activities that are running all over the world. But this thing maybe are the one being done. So coming to the question.
Your question, yeah.
Yeah. You know, I don't know, in the regard to context of South Sudan, we have so many people who are not listeners of radios, like High Radio, any other radio that are used for awareness, or even social media, which is the Facebook, WhatsApp. And these might be the typical people who are affected in the rural areas. How should you reach such a people? Or even some places are lacking hospital, even in my area. most of the places are lacking hospital and are lacking even information about on the vaccine that's going on if it is safe. Secondly, should it be just in Juba or the towns and avoid the places that are outside the town, because these people cannot maybe get that information of that vaccination and the importance of it, and doubtfulness maybe this vaccine may affect our kids and all this. What kind of information can you give to the people so that they are convinced and they really accept the vaccination and take their kids to that vaccination site?
Thank you very much. This question I would like to direct it to that Mr. Taban Musa, who is Deputy IP Officer, and I think you will also react to it shortly. Plans on that hard to reach areas, then accurate information. Welcome.
Thank you very much. James Duar, his
James Duar.
Yeah, James Duar, yeah. For that very good question. As we have been elaborating that when we get this vaccine into the country, it is a vaccine that is pre-qualified by WHO. And this vaccine has been used in very many countries, not only in South Sudan. And we are just beginning to use it. But the vaccine has been in use in Sudan. You know, Sudan, our neighbor, Kenya, Ethiopia, Uganda, DRC, even Central Africa, they are using this vaccine. It is only that our country was not able to introduce it in the olden days because of some challenges. But now those challenges were somehow overcome through support of our partner, UNICEF, WHO, and then Gavi, of course, Gavi, which is the overall consortium for vaccine introduction.
The concern of James Duar is, I know you respond to it. What's the use of our doctors and the labs? You know, because some of this vaccine can be used in the rest of the countries, yes, but what is the proof here in South Sudan? Let me know.
Maybe.
Yes. Okay, welcome.
Thank you very much. James Duar, vaccines, when we bring vaccines to the country, we don't just go to the company and just order and bring them. It is going through a lot of process. First of all, the globe, the global office knows, they are bringing vaccine to South Sudan. Regional office have laboratories and everything. They make sure that these vaccines are good. In the country, we have Food and Drug Authority is the one that permit this vaccine to come to South Sudan, and is the one that makes sure that these vaccines are safe for the country.
Okay.
If they refuse, nobody will bring this vaccine.
Okay, plans to areas that does not even have health facilities.
We have a lot of plans. Even this campaign now, we have everybody sent to up to the lowest area, boomers and payams. Difficult to reach areas, all the plans are there to reach them.
What are the plans apart from, they need vaccines, of course.
Yes.
What are the plans?
I mean, there are health workers who are deployed to those areas. Vaccines are there in the fridges, ready for deployment. We have transport that can reach specific areas with vaccinators. And we have a timeline of implementing this campaign. We have, first of all, one campaign which are going to start from age 1 to 5 years for this pneumonia vaccine. We want all children from 1 year to 5 years to be covered because their age has gone and we will not be able to capture them unless we go through campaign.
Thank you. On Myth, I think Duar just joined us. What accurate information about this vaccine? As you have heard, there are some informations, of course, and misconception going on. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I will first answer his question about people who are in the remote areas. How do we make sure that these people get the right information? When we are bringing in vaccines, there is a lot of engagement that is done. Political leaders are first sensitized. We also go and sensitize the religious leaders, the community leaders, and the health workers themselves. You see in each state, you see the health workers' bodies that are there. the doctors, the nurse associations, the midwives, and these are part of the health system. So these people are sensitized so that they understand these vaccines, and if they are to administer, there are no like kind of lack of information because they know what they are giving to the communities. Apart from the radio messaging that we do, there are other activities that are done. One is we have to reach out to schools because they need to be sensitized. We also reach out to different, at Payam level and at Boma levels, we also select some caregivers that need to be sensitized. And the household level, we have a lot of messages that are developed, very accurate messages that are developed, and they are sent out through jingles and also through local languages. For people who are sending these are people who are trained. These are part of the health worker system that are trained. And we also go to churches to make sure that we announce the availability of these vaccines. These vaccines is safe. And if some segments of people are having some kind of doubt, this is where now we do community dialogue meetings.
All right.
And then James could be one of those that you need to really have a dialogue with, because I can see he's thinking too much into like the vaccines that are coming in, are they tested? Well, it's good to think too much, but sometimes it's good to also interact and dialogue. So there are a lot of things, even launch events are going to be there, because these vaccines cannot just be administered like that. It has to be officially launched so that everybody is aware of the availability of these vaccines, how it is administered.
Thank you.
Health workers are trained, and they are the one that always interact with the community.
Thank you, Pinkilwell. Earlier, Margot Hual, yes, you will get to it. Vaccine hesitance among the local people is a major handle reducing the incidence of that's a vaccine preventable childhood diseases. This requires education among the local population. This is a great show. He's really applauding it. And now let me invite you in, Patty.
Yeah, before we proceed to the second question, I wanted to tell James Edward that Africans are not educated. Africans are educated, and last year in the EPA managers meeting we have had in Johannesburg, South Africa, the African CDC, Africa Center for Disease and Control, are there. They are developing big laboratory for the continent. So soon we will be having our own medicines being manufactured within the country, within the continent. We will also have vaccines to be manufactured within the continent, but this will be in coordination with the WHO as the sole controller of vaccines and medicine being manufactured.
Thank you.
Let us have a high hope that in the next few years we'll have our own supplies from within.
Thank you. Let's keep the chance, of course. Let's give the chance to our callers on 0911-022-986. If at all you have a question or comment to my guest right here, let me hear from this radio. Aywa, Joseph. ما بطل كيف لبنك؟
أنا جيت راهي في سنة وأنا مرتبط كلام كتير من كده سيد طبعا أصلاً كلام كده نيمونيا ده صعب. أنا مستشير لكان كم ده صعب. ما نستنى وارين ده نبغى نستعمل كلام كده لا تسوي ده يوم تغرد ده صعب شديد.
نعم.
لكن فندرنا قال كان لنا بين وادي تجنب أصلا وادي تجنب ما في وادي تجنب ده بيئة بيئة في معال هذا الشيء كمان في شيء كده بس شيء كان أفرح. ده ما هي مون قاعد كان ما دايت كتير. so أنا بقول كلام تاع إنشكيري ده تفكير حال تفكير ده غير مسؤول قدي قال ده وانا بسنا المسرح في ناشر قاعدين يلاقي بنتي مالتا
نعم
شكرا
شكرا
وفي حالات تنين زي كده تركيا في تايت تنين مثلا ودر له يعني در له شهر در له انا واحد غير موصل الناس نازل وصل لغايه نازل لغايه نازل كل الان ده حقيقه كده طبعا يعني جت كده التمرين ده وفعلا طبعا يعني عندنا موت الناس بيرسل ذات ذاته يتال عندنا أكيد بيمتى سيف محل
تاسف نعم مومن بجواب السؤال ده ما في مشكلة نعم Joseph من لبنان بقول there's a poor infrastructure and security issues. How would you make sure that population, for example, in Nasir and Therekeka, in those remote areas, and there's also insecurity issues going on, yan fi shunu beda palom ya tukhuta.
Okay. شكرا كتير. احنا طبعا يعني زي كلام بتاع جوزيف ده احنا في سبورت بتاع وزارة الصحة احنا عملنا 2 خطة نمرة 1 هسه ماشيين نبدأ بكامبين areas كله لو منشن ده ناس هيسل فيه يعني في areas الفوقو insecurity مثلا ناس هسه قاعدين يعمل مشاكل احنا بيسكيب زمن ده شوية لكن فاكسين بتاعهم بيكون موجود وبلان بتاعهم موجود وقت ما حالا اتحسن شوية طوال بنكوش نديهم فاكسينز احنا ما بنحرمهم من فاكسينز فاكسين كله بوصل لهم
وفاكسين ده يعني ناس بكون targeted population كله كم يعني
حاليا الكامبين ده
تانيمونيا نعم
عندنا 3 مليون children
اوكي شكرا ناس ما
ده targeted لكامبين لكن بروتين طبعا بيكون موجود من عمر 6 أسبوع 10 أسبوع 14 أسبوع ده بيكون في روتين الفاكسينيشن.
شكرا. اي راديو.
الو
نعم. منو من وين؟
داغا ما من
مرحب داغا.
Yes. I wanted to know the control indication of this vaccine. That's just my question. Is there any contraindication?
The introduction of this vaccine?
Yes. Is there any contraindication?
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, that's just my question.
Thank you so much. Side effect of this vaccine, quickly, Patty.
Okay, Daga, thank you very much for asking about the contraindication. One of the contraindication is that if a child has received, for example, penta vaccines, that some of the vaccines that they have been receiving before, and it causes reaction in that child, like skin problems, this child will also be, if the mothers tell us that this child has developed problem when it was given another vaccine before, we cannot allow this child to get this pneumonia vaccine. Another one is people with compromised illness like HIV, we cannot subject them to the vaccines. And those who are severely sick, suppose a child is severely sick, either with high fever, malaria, or suffering from a severe illnesses. This one we can spare until the child gets treated, then we can go back to give the vaccine to the child.
All right.
And even those severely malnourished, if the child is severely malnourished, we can give opportunity to the child to get a bit better so that we can, because this pneumonia is not only causing respiratory infection like pneumonia, al-nasbegul pneumonia, almunia, wala sunuda, lakini it can also cause meningitis, it can cause septicemia, it can cause ear infection that can lead the child not to listen, not to hear. It can cause deafness in the child. It can cause retardation in the brain. The child will become very dull in school. The child cannot perform. So we make sure that those children who have no reaction, these are the eligible children, but those who have reaction to other medicines, this one we can rule that this child may not be eligible for the vaccination.
فرصة لمخالمة في 09 وايد ولا 229 as we are almost coming to the end of our conversation, but still we would like to give chance to one lucky caller. Radio.
I'm on
That's you know.
I'm not on go vaccine kiki measles bagel legera go pentas banal bagel leal ta cholera biga tani mo ne ya jai ta hal jai o rao ta ne jai
هل في باكسين كتير جديد تزول أو لابد أبدا ما بيجيبوا أثر جديد تزول في ولا بيجيبوا.
Good question. شكرا جزيلا. ده سؤال في محله. مرحب.
شكرا كتير أخونا. vaccines ده كله يعني studied وفي محلات تانيين ذاته ما لنا إني جنا باخدوا vaccines أكتر من النقوون سواسة دي. بعدين vaccines ده ما بودي كله في زمن واحد. في vaccine بودي بكالازو يلا تاني بيجا ودي بعد كام شهر في تاني بيجا ودي بعد سنة so vaccine ده كله ما بيردموا لجانا في وقت واحد بودي بزمن بيتو وفي زمن بيتو ده ما بيكون عنده مشكلة. yes.
شكرا. نعم.
إضافة على كلام تا زميل بتاعي أنتوني ده زي في يوغندا هنا 13 لقاحات او فاكسينز قاعدين يودوا للعيال 13 ولسه نحن هسه وصل في كم 9 11 هسه سو نحن لسه بدري لكن في محلات تانيين 15 18 كتير. اما حاجه الفاكسين ده بودي معناه لجنا وجنا بيكون نشيط عشان كده انت ما بسمع في دوله تانيين مثلا الدولة بتاعت الدولة الغربية بتاع كواجات يال قاعدين يموتوا من أمراض عنده فاكسين له. So this vaccine preventable disease the best prevention is vaccine.
All right. I would love us to stay here for another good hours, but time will not also allow me to do so. But let's wrap up this discussion. Let me start with Mr. Taban Musa, Deputy Director. In 30 seconds, pass out your closing remark.
Okay. Shukran jazilan. I think let me talk in Arabic a bit. Yeah. أنا مقصود كارثة أصلا ليلة جيتنا في أي راديو عشان نشارك مع ناس بتاعنا مع الناس بتاعنا البرا هنا قاعد يسمع قلنا يا أخوانا vaccination ده هو حاجة مهم خالص كده. vaccination ده حماية لأمراض كتير كده. هذا كده مثلا كانت روح في هنا في قرية هناك يوم داك يالا بيكون ابو كرين ببطل القرائن وشون ده كده كان كتير بدر دي لقد اسدي اسمون يبقى الناس كبار اللي تبشوف بمشي باجل بتاع ابو كرين ده كده لكن يالا السكرين البتاله هنا دي خلاص بقى نادر ونزل ده عشان شنو عشان فاكسين تابوليو بقى فيه ودي لعيال كتير كده ومن يالا كمان كان بدر دي حزبه كان جا كان بقتل عيال كتير
فلا سالتك شنو وصل زمان
لا لكن في فاكسينيشن في زمن ده كده خلاص بقى نادر كده يعني قلت فاكسين ده هو حاجه مهم خالص كده فلازم كلنا نشيله كلام التطعيم ده فيري سيريس.
شكرا.
اذا عندنا فاكسين تا نيمونيا او تا دايريا دي هنا في بلد بتاعنا بس نبوظها في كل محلات في جنوب السودان. فإيتا البرا هناك ده بلاي ده opportunity بتاعك ما تخلي جانا بتاعك جاني بدون تطعيم لقوا فاكسين ياو في جنب باب بتاعك ده أو رسالة بتاعك.
وصل زمن في 30 ثانية دكتور أنثوني لاكو مرحبا.
يا شكرا كتير. أنا داير أقول إنه نيمونيا فاكسين وروتا فاكسين تلنا ماشين نعمل introduction فوق ده فاكسين ده very safe ما عنده أي مشكلة. نمرة 2 أنا قد نمشي نودي فاكسين ده هسه من عمر سنة ل5 سنة لإيال في شكل كامبين بيبدأ من يوم 27 إن شاء الله وماشي لغاية يوم 2 أو يوم 4 شهر 6. بعد ذاك إيال البولدو ورا بيستمر من 6 أسبوع 10 أسبوع 14 أسبوع في التطعيم الروتيني إن شاء الله. بعد سنة ولا سنتين نبي نشوف إنه نيمونيا reduce في South Sudan.
شكرا. Mr. Apink Luel, in 30 seconds.
Yeah, thank you so much, listeners and iRadio for hosting us. It's just to encourage our caregivers. Please, we should not think of, someone should not divert your thinking that these vaccines that are coming in are to kill Africans, the black people. If white people want to kill us, they will not kill us through vaccines. We are eating the biscuits and we are eating the sweets. and they are all coming. Do we have factories in? Yeah. So please, we should not think of those. Please make sure that you take your child for vaccination, especially for routine. The routine is always there. There are health facilities that are always there, and there are teams that are always coming to your area. Please allow them to vaccinate your child.
Thank you. Finally, Pati, Mr. Pati, you're welcome.
Thank you very much. Kabra lana der wadi al inu zaman nihna bnabki au nakorek min pneumonia, min malaria, min ishalat, lakin asa tataim موجود عندنا. الأسبوع الجاي ده جايين نبدأ بتاع نيمونيا، وبعدك بيكونوا في روتين فوق ملاريا وبتاع نيمونيا وبتاع إسهالات، لأنه ده أكتر أمراض بيقتلوا يالنا. فكده نحن نجي بعدد كمية بتاع يال بتاعنا، كده نجيب كل زول اللي عنده جانا أقل من 5 سنة ده كله يجيبوا عشان ياخد التطعيم ده. وبعدك نشوف مرضى ده بيكون لسه في معانا ولا ما بيكون فيه.
شكرا.
وشكرا.
Shukran. With that, dear listener, we have come to the end of this discussion, and it has been on the launching of that pneumonia vaccine ahead of its launch in South Sudan as part of South Sudan's national immunization program. I'm blessed to be joined by Mr. Taban Musa from that Ministry of Health, Dr. Anthony Lako from WHO, Samuel Pati from UNICEF, and Mr. Apink Luel from UNICEF as well. I've been your host, Madam James. Thank you so much for asking those good questions, dear listener.
The pneumonia vaccine is here to protect your child against pneumonia today. Pneumonia is one of the most serious illnesses affecting children under 5 years old. It is a dangerous disease caused by bacteria that affects the lungs and can kill if not prevented. Common symptoms include fever, fast breathing, chest pain when breathing or coughing, and difficulty in breathing. The Ministry of Health, with support from partners, will launch the pneumonia vaccine across all 10 states